Procrastination doesn't exist, and the fact that you believe it does is exactly why you're stuck. Right now, you think you're lazy. You think you lack discipline. You've tried every productivity hack, every morning routine, every motivational video, and you still can't finish what you start. Here's what nobody's telling you. Procrastination is a symptom, not a disease. It's what you call the gap between intention and action when you don't understand what's actually happening in your brain. And if procrastination isn't the real problem, then what invisible force has been controlling your ability to finish things your entire life? When you can't start that project, your brain isn't being lazy. It's performing a cost-benefit analysis at lightning speed. Dr. Timothy Pitchell's research at Carleton University revealed something critical. What we call procrastination is actually emotional regulation. Your brain detects a threat, not a physical one, but an emotional one. Uncertainty about how to start, fear of it not being perfect, anxiety about being judged. So your limbic system, the emotional center, overrides your prefrontal cortex, the planning center. You're not avoiding work, you're avoiding a feeling. And your brain will always choose immediate emotional relief over delayed rewards. The real enemy has a name: executive dysfunction. It's not in the mainstream vocabulary, which is why you've been fighting the wrong battle. Executive function is your brain's project manager. It initiates tasks, maintains focus, switches between activities, and sees things through to completion. When this system falters, you experience what researchers call intention-action gap. You know exactly what you need to do. You want to do it. You understand the consequences of not doing it. But there's a disconnect between knowing and doing. This isn't character weakness. It's a neurological bottleneck, and it affects far more people than you realize. Here's what that gap feels like in real time. You open your laptop. The task is clear, but your brain is simultaneously running 17 other processes, worrying about whether you're doing it right, remembering past failures, scanning for anything more immediately rewarding, calculating how long it might take, predicting potential problems. Dr. Wendy Wood from USC calls this cognitive load overflow. Your working memory, which can only hold about 4 items, becomes a stadium packed with 50,000 screaming thoughts. Decision paralysis sets in, not because you're weak, but because your brain's RAM is maxed out before you even begin. Now, here's the pattern you've probably never noticed. You can finish things, just not the things you think you should finish. You've binged entire TV series. You've scrolled for hours. You've had deep conversations that lasted until morning. You've hyper-focused on projects that interested you. The difference? Those activities had immediate feedback loops, clear progress markers, and intrinsic motivation. The tasks you can't finish have delayed rewards, ambiguous success metrics, and extrinsic pressure. Your brain isn't broken. It's responding exactly as it's designed to, seeking clarity, novelty, and immediate feedback. You've been trying to force a system that's working perfectly. So how do you work with your brain instead of against it? You engineer the conditions it's looking for. Break projects into absurdly small steps. Not write the report, but open the document. Create external scaffolding for your executive function, timers, body doubling, environmental cues. Remove the pre-decision fatigue by deciding when and where you'll work before motivation is required. Professor B.J. Fogg's research shows that tiny actions repeated consistently rewire your brain's reward pathways. You're not building discipline. You're building neural highways that make starting feel less threatening. The goal isn't willpower. It's systems that make willpower irrelevant. Here's the truth about finishing things. Completion isn't about pushing through. It's about removing friction and adding structure. When you can't finish, you're not failing. You're getting feedback about missing systems. No clear starting point? That's a planning gap. Can't maintain focus? That's an environment design problem. Lose motivation halfway? That's a lack of milestone rewards. Every point where you stop contains information. Most people interpret stopping as personal failure and add shame to an already overloaded system. But shame is just more cognitive load, more emotional threat, more reason for your limbic system to shut you down. The cycle perpetuates because you're treating the symptom instead of the structure. And now you know. That invisible force controlling your ability to finish things isn't procrastination, laziness, or weak character. It's the predictable response of a brain operating without the structural support it needs to bridge the gap between intention and action. The real work isn't motivating yourself harder. It's designing environments, breaking down tasks, and creating feedback systems that work with your neurology, not against it. You were never broken. You were just using the wrong map. If this reframed how you see yourself, hit that like button. It genuinely helps others find this perspective. And subscribe if you want more videos that challenge what you think you know. I dig deep into these, and I'd love to have you here for the next one.